I think I got into teaching because I had great teachers. I still remember as a small child in elementary school going to church, and I remember the pastor had asked us, what do we want to do when we grow up? And I said a math teacher. And I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I've always enjoyed working with other people and helping people, and teaching is kind of a profession where you do that pretty much every single day, not just with kids, but with colleagues, and peers and things like that.
He is the type of person who is always looking or always exploring new opportunities for himself and his students. And so he has taken the role of traditional teacher, put that by the wayside, and has become a true facilitator within his classrooms. His kids are allowed to discover things on their own. They're allowed to present. They're allowed to use computers and technology to enhance their learning.
I've always been of the opinion every kid learns at a different rate. Every kid has different experiences and different skills, and technology is just a way to kind of tap into all of those ways. If I'm just in front of the room with a book and that's my only method of teaching them and they're writing everything on a piece of paper, that's not going to work for everybody. And technology gives you those options.
And having this ability or this knowledge in an area that a lot of us older teachers don't necessarily have, to be open to coming and sharing it and showing how it's done, and then to take something as he learns it and then being open to going to an in-service that we have and saying, hey, this is how you do it, and then letting us get our hands on it. Not just sitting up in front and lecturing to us, but doing a lot of hands-on. I think that's exactly what he does with the kids, a lot of hands-on and independence.
Yeah, it's definitely is a lot more fun, and since the technology is just going to become more, there's just going to be a lot more technology in our lives soon, and so this is definitely helping us in life as well as school.
So we had almost 300 kids spend an entire day what we call passion learning, doing what they were passionate about. It was unbelievable, all over the place. And Daniel Pink heard about it and wrote about it on his blog, and after that, it just blew up. I mean, I had thousands of people following and reading what I was doing at that point. So it definitely changed what I was doing, but as a result of that, I've also worked with about 8 or 9 other schools across the country and a couple in England and one in Australia to do their own innovation days. And that's the intent, because I want to share what I'm doing in hopes that another teacher will have a similar experience or be able to learn from it, and ultimately it helps kids. If not necessarily the kids sitting in my classroom, if it's kids in Australia, I don't care. At the end of the day, it's helping kids. And that's where the blog I have seen, and the other thing I try to do is raise questions. Not to be, adversarial, but cause people to think. I'm not saying everything I write people agree with. My big thing I've been discussing a lot is homework. What role does that play in education? And there's a very clear line in the sand on that between people that say we need it, people that say we don't. So it's not that I want people to necessarily agree with me or disagree, but to cause those conversations, because that's where we learn, I think, as teachers and as human beings. In my current project I'm working on, and there's some pictures on the wall over there of these glasses. I just sent 8 pairs out, one to Singapore, one to Romania, and a couple in the States. And similar to the Flat Stanley project, I don't know if you're familiar with that. So we got an ed tech company to buy us 200 glasses, myself and these 3 other teachers, 2 of them one in Oregon and 2, I think they're in Kansas. And we're sending these to the classrooms around the world, and kids are taking pictures in their local places, in their backyard or at the local cafe, places that are important to them, and then sharing their stories about why that place is important. And we have a blog created, and these kids are posting their pictures and sharing their stories all around the world. And that's not something you can get out of a textbook. So again, my blog has allowed me to connect to people. I mean, I could tell you what's going on with a classroom in Florida or in Germany right now just because I have these connections. And at the end of the day, it makes me better at what I'm doing, which ultimately makes the learning better for the kids here. And so it's one of those things where I don't think I could ever go back to not doing that. Now that I'm here, I could never imagine going back. It's kind of like Pandora's box is open.
I think he does a lot of rapport building. He works with the kids. He identifies with the kids where they're at, allows them to experience things and try things and to fail, and then to reassess with them and see how we can improve upon that. So when he's coaching, he's always working with the kids on their individual strengths.
I teach social studies. 90% of these kids are never going to need that when they walk out of high school, and that's a reality. But will they take with them those lessons of working with each other, and having respect and responsibility? Those are the lessons that if they walk away knowing those, then I feel like I've succeeded. And those kinds of notes and letters when the kids come back, that's a huge part of why I do what I do.
Because he's like a nice guy, and I guess you feel like a natural urge to get his approval, because he seems like someone that you would want to have as a friend. He's got that good aura around him.
There's great work going on every single day in classrooms across this country and this world, and we often don't hear those. So I'm hoping to use this award for that, because people are going to be listening to me more now. People are going to look at me, and I hope to keep telling those stories because it's good to hear them, but I think that's also how we can learn from each other as well.